Morning, everyone. Can you all hear me fine?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
I
can.
can hear you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let's start with stand up today. I'll go first. So last week, been reviewing the materials for the Java class and looking through the old files that I had up here for installing Java and Eclipse. Every 6 months, seems like they're coming out with new versions. So it needs to be updated. I don't want you guys to download something old, and it's not that it's not going to work, but always a good idea to stay up to date and do that. So it does take a little bit of a installation on my end ahead of time in case there is any new version with new requirements that I might need to address during teaching. So I always give it a shot. So I mock downloaded in my platform and made sure everything works, and looks like it's working fine. So I have updated these buttons with those, and today I'll be doing the presentation for how to install and also show you how Java works, do some simple programs, and explain the homework to you guys, and no blockers. Sanjida?
Good morning. Last week I did some homework, like one full day I spent with these lessons, and today I have a plan to do full day class, but tomorrow I can join the class. And so far there was a bug. What happened when I was doing my homework and it says it's a delete the communications, and I deleted and I couldn't finish the last homework. So that was my bug, and it's good. And it goes to Stanley.
Good morning. Thank you, Sanjay. So yeah, this is Stanley. Yes, I'm glad that today I'll be able to attend the class today tomorrow. And yes, about the SQL, I think I have to finish both of the homework. I have the target to finish today. And yeah, so far so good. Till now, not any blocker to mention. But yeah, let's hope for the best. Thank you. And go to Chisti.
Thank you, Stanley, for inviting me. Good morning. Happy cold Saturday. Actually, till yesterday night, I could complete the SQL insert, update, and delete assignment so far. So far, SQL insert, update, and delete assignment. I didn't face any blocker, but I couldn't complete SQL join union home assignment. Probably this week I could finish all the things because I had so much work to do. And in fact, the last week I was too busy, but hopefully today and now on, I'll arrange some time to do the update of my work in time. Thank you so much for inviting me again. And now I'm going to Loretta.
Thank you so much, Tristy. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, sorry for last few weeks, my family have been sick, and last week was my baby was sick, and I couldn't do any homework or any classes like he did, extra classes. And I had a blocker, I couldn't log in last Sunday, or yeah, Sunday, last Sunday. So that's why I missed the class and I couldn't finish the homework, but planning to do it this week because everybody is finally recovered from the flu. So this is me right now. And next, Rajuda.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Thank you, Loretta. Yeah, yesterday I completed my homeworks and already submitted both of them. And yesterday I went through the previous SQL lessons. Today I'm attending the class, and so far no blockers. And next, over to who's next? Stanley.
Once again, I did it. But anyway, so thank you, Mr. Razak. So yeah, once again, it's good, no problem. I would like to mention that I have no blocker till now. I'll not mention my daily runs any blocker anymore. But I have a booster, new booster. That's my laptop. I just bought a laptop and today I'm doing my class from my new laptop. So I'm enjoying it. Thank you.
All right, wonderful, guys. Today's class, you're going to learn about Java. We're going to install JDK and Eclipse in your machine. I'll demo you. One of you is going to be a lucky one that I will actually be performing these downloads in their machine because I already have it, so it doesn't make any sense for me to waste this class on installing it on my machine. But it is recommended that you really learn it well of how to install this thing, because when you go to a company, they might give you a laptop and ask you to install these free softwares on your platform yourself. They wouldn't provide you any kind of help to do that, and they would expect that you already know how to do it. So don't take it lightly, even though it might be just one instance that we're going to install this on your machine. I would recommend that you really learn this well. You memorize it, the steps if you need to. I'll try to make it as easy as possible. So let's get started. So, what is Java? Is this font okay? Do I need to increase the font, or this is good?
It's good.
This is good.
It's good.
Okay. So Java is the most popular programming language in the world. Created not too long ago, actually, 1995. So, well, maybe 25 to 30 years. So fairly still you are in that hot market where Java is evolving and getting smarter, stronger. You are in the right place, right time. I think we're in a technological revolution right now, and this is the way to go. And it's gonna be there. It's gonna get better and better, at least for 100 years. So your job is secured. It's currently owned by a company called Oracle. And you may have heard of this. This company owns multiple of technological items, including a database that they are very familiar, they're very popular with, Oracle database, and, and various other products, but they own it now. Java is used for many, many types of applications, including mobile app that you use on your cell phone, desktop applications that are getting built, web applications, if you navigate to any company websites, are getting built by Java, and even in servers where they serve the clients are coded in Java. It goes anywhere. Anybody, any platform can use these. If your kids play video games, can be created um, by Java. So games, computer games, console games. Java has its own library of code to connect to database. And it's called, in short, JDBC. JDBC. Java Database Connection. So whenever you hear JDBC, it's basically the Java code that will assist you to connect to database. And it's not for the beginners. The code in there is pretty complicated, but we really don't need to know the code as long as we can copy the code and use it to connect to any kind of database is a question that recruiter might ask you. Just be in the know-how that JDBC is the code to connect to database. We'll talk more about it later. There are other popular programming languages out there, but not as popular as Java, but you should familiarize yourself with them because these might come up. And if you don't know that these are the names of programming languages, then it just doesn't sound right when you're in an interview. You should be aware of various basic things. Understand that as a QA, you are a jack of all trades, but master of really none. I'm not saying none, but you probably should become a master of Selenium. So that's where you can take yourself pride on. I wouldn't say, take pride on Java after I teach you Java, because I will only teach you what you need to know to be an automation engineer. But understand that your expertise is going to be really the Selenium part of it, which when you go work for a company, the developers might be familiar with Selenium, but they don't know how it works. So they will always think that you are the master. And in fact, you are going to become, by the end of this course, you will become the master of Selenium. And just know enough Java to get your work done. You can extend that knowledge later. So other popular programming languages. Popular languages include Python. Python is really good for mathematical operations. The code is very simple, much simpler than Java. I don't teach Python because not most companies use Python. If I teach you Java, your chances of getting a company job that uses Java is about 70%. And then the 30% chance it could be some other programming languages. So the other most popular one is called C#. You may have heard of C++. It's no longer C++. C# is the most up-to-date version of that. Another one is called Ruby, Node.js. You should get yourself familiarized with these languages. I mean, just the name part of it, you don't really need to learn anything in there, but just they ask you and you don't know what Node.js is. If you can't say it's a programming language, then you're not getting points for that. There's another one, Golang, and this one is created by Google. And another one getting pretty popular is called Angular. Angular has a way of creating graphs and tables that are really beautiful, modern, and highly animated. Looks amazing. So you can individually, if you ever wanted to Google search these and maybe get a paragraph for yourself to know what they're popular for. I mean, obviously there are different kinds of programming languages, maybe because they have their own little niche, own little benefit. And if you can have a paragraph for those benefits, that will be an extra. That will be a bonus on your end, but not required. If you want to do that, you can. Now, why do we need to use Java? Well, Java has several advantages over other programming languages. one of the most important one is called platform independent. Now, it's a fancy term. You do need to be familiar with this because they use it a lot. And if you just say platform independent, they will understand what you mean. But basically what it means is it's not dependent on any kind of machine or any type of machine. It's independent, means it's free. It's and in simple terms, it just means works with any operating system. That means if you write code in Java and you want to run it in Windows, it's going to work. If you run it on Mac, it will work. You go run it on Linux, it's going to work. It doesn't depend on it because the core of these operating systems have Java inside them. So you don't really have to install anything in extra particular for different machines. It works. But if you wanted to use Python or C#, you would have to use an extra download for them and customize for these programming languages to actually work. But Java, you don't have to. It's open source. Whenever you hear the word open source, it's nothing but free. That's all it means. Don't say free anymore because that's not the term that in the software industry use. But just to make sense to you, I put it in here, but use the term from now on called open source. Anytime you hear me say open source, meaning it's free. Also, what that open source means that a community of programmers basically code that system, that software, and there's a community support for it. So that's all of that information comes with this open source idea. And it's easy to learn in many aspects and pretty simple to use. It's innately secure, fast, and powerful. And if you needed any kind of assistance, anything, anywhere you got stuck, there is a whole huge community that is out there online that can provide you with solutions and support. You can just type in Java, I need this, or I need that, or how do I solve this, how do I solve that? And you're going to get like hundreds, if not thousands, of links and places where various coders have already posted their solutions that you can use. Any other languages, it might be a little less, but you're going to get a lot more support and solutions for Java. Any questions so far? Okay. How do you check? There's a way to check if you have Java in your system or not. So how to check if you already have Java in your platform? Well, remember you did the command line class where I showed you how to do the command line coding. That's what you have to do here. You would open CMD, and after opening CMD, you would type in this command, all lowercase, Java space dash version. This will give you, if you have any version, it's going to let you know what version. And if you don't have it, it's just going to say that we don't understand what this Java dash version means. Two things come with Java download, which we're going to do it on your system today. There's another one called compiler, Java compiler. So you could also do this command called JAVAC. C stands for the compiler, and then put a space dash version. And if you have Java, then this will also return the version of that Java compiler. So we'll do that in a second. Now, if a version is returned, then you have Java in your system. Now, if the command is not recognized, then no Java is available yet. And then you would have to install this. So let me pick up Raju here, and then I'm going to check your system to see if you have Java or not. So Raju, I'm going to make you a presenter. And I'm going to request keyboard and mouse access. If you can share your screen. There you go. So y'all can see Raju's screen here. What I would do is I would go into this search box way down here. And oh, that's not search, that's Cortana. And here's the search box. And I would type in CMD. Notice it got populated right up here. Don't click on it like that. Just right click and click on Run as Administrator. This gives you a little more power to do things. So I'll click on that. Looks like it froze. Anything happening on your end, Raju?
No,
Okay, I lost control. Looks like I don't see that mouse going around. Do you have control over yours?
yes.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and open that up. Okay, let me see if it still works. No, for example, it took me out. Okay, yeah, go ahead and open that. I'll just have you do it.
Actually, I already had it on my taskbar, but
That's not a problem. Okay, if you press Control Plus to zoom in on this screen. Press and hold Control and then plus button.
only the control and plus.
Press the Control button. While holding the Control button, hit the plus button several times. Nothing is happening?
No.
Okay. In
Stein,
that case,
probably, if it is laptop, then there are some other options. You can drag it bigger by using 2 fingers, or you can press Control plus Shift and then the plus button, because there are less of keys.
try Control Shift Plus. All three of
No,
them
it's
have
not
to be
working.
pressed together. Okay. The other option is on the top left corner, you see that icon. Left corner.
Left corner. Yeah.
Click on that icon.
Maximize.
Click on, no. Click on Properties. Go to Font. And select 24. Click OK. It's better. Y'all can see that?
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Okay. Now type in Java space dash version. Hit enter. Notice it says Java is not recognized as an internal or external command. That means that Java is not installed in his system yet. Also type in JAVAC space dash version. That JAVAC or Java compiler is also not recognized, meaning it's not installed. But take a look at my side here. So thank you, Raju.
Thank you.
So in my computer, if I go in here and type in CMD, right click and do run as admin, it asks for a permission. I go in here and type in Java space dash version. It tells me I have Java version 17.0.5 and then some other information. That 17 is the version number. Nobody really says 17.0.5. If a recruiter asks you what version of Java do you use in your framework, you're going to say I use the version 17. There is 19 version and 20 will come out in a few months. The latest is not always the greatest because the latest ones, sometimes they have issues in them. And then they start releasing updates to fix those issues. So there's always a latest version versus a stable version. 17 is right now the most stable, latest version that you can get. That's why I installed 17 on my machine. I'll instruct you how to do that on yours. If I also type in JAVAC dash version, it's also going to tell me what type of Java compiler version I have, which is the same as 17.0.6. They all come together. So one installation gives you all of it, and we'll talk about it shortly. Any questions about how to check whether you have Java in your machine or not? Okay. So what are you gonna need to run Java on your machine? What is needed for Java programming? Two things actually. One, you need something called JDK. It stands for Java Development Kit. Kit means it's a packet. And in this packet, it has everything you need. That's a kit. Kit always includes everything. That's what Kit stands for. So we're going to install JDK that's going to have everything in it. Know the term because recruiters might ask you, what is JDK? Just to test you to see if you're really in the market or not. And the second thing you're going to need is called an IDE. And IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. Integrated Development Environment is the same thing. It's a software. Okay? The software, basically a software, kind of like Notepad. I'm using this Notepad to write stuff. Well, Notepad is not that good example, but let's say if I wanted to use Microsoft Word, I could be writing an essay in Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word will tell me if I made any mistake, if there's any spelling error, there's any grammar that I need to fix, if there's any indentation I need to do to make my essay beautiful. You may have also heard a lot of commercial on Grammarly when you go to YouTube, that they have this a software called Grammarly you can install to write your essays and stuff. What it does is it helps you, it looks at your writings and it tells you where you made mistakes and it fixes it for you. And sometimes it completes the sentence for you. You can choose their suggestions and it will do it for you. So this is a software for writing code. And it will pretty much not just help you, sometimes it will complete the code for you with suggestions and so forth. So that type of software is called an IDE. And in our case, we're going to install a specific IDE. There's a whole lot of IDEs out there. We're going to be installing something called Eclipse. Why? Because it is the most popular one. But let's go a little bit deeper into this. What is JDK? So JDK is a development kit that contains a lot of components. One of them is called a Java virtual machine. What does Java virtual machine does? You can go deeper into this, but nobody's going to ask you. I don't want to waste your time confusing you. So, but do know that if they ask you what is JDK, just say it's a component that includes Java virtual machine. It's a development kit that includes Java virtual machine, has a compiler that converts human code into machine readable bytecode. Okay. Honestly, whatever information I'm giving you is way more. If you can say all of it, if they ask you, put it in a sentence and a paragraph, you don't ever have to study anything else beside what I'm giving you here. Also contains something called JRE. You need to know this term too because they could ask you what this is. JRE stands for Java Runtime Environment. Runtime environment is nothing but library of files in technical term. I will show you what that is shortly today. That's basically it. Just remember those three things. So you got a Java virtual machine, you got a compiler. Let me just capitalize this. And you have Java runtime environment, which is a library of files. Any questions? So what is, in detail, what is an IDE? It is an editorial software to write or edit your code. It is intelligently designed to assist in writing and reviewing your code. Imagine software code is like the most intelligent thing out there. So a software that helps you build another software, imagine how intelligent this software is going to be. And that's what that IDE is. It will automatically complete your code and do error detection, so forth. So IDE has this capability of automatic code completion and error detection. It also contains various testing tools, which you're going to see when we start Selenium. Testing you can deploy. So deployment tools can be integrated into it. There are a whole lot of IDEs out there, okay? You need to be familiar with them as well. So various IDEs include, obviously, Eclipse we're going to install on your machine. Eclipse is the most popular and widely used IDE out there. The market share is about, I would say, 60%. And then the next most popular one is called IntelliJ. You need to familiarize yourself with these, as at least what I'm telling you on this particular line, that that they exist. You know that those are IDEs. If they ask you what is an IntelliJ, you have to say it is an IDE to write code, which provides several benefits such as error detection, code completion, and reviews, and assist with testing and deployment. Kind of put a paragraph together in this. So you'll hear anything in here, just try to repeat this whole thing together. Okay? The other one is NetBeans. These are the three most widely used ones. I will throw another one, Visual Studio, mainly for C#. But again, 60% is like Eclipse, and the rest 40% goes to all of these guys. My company uses IntelliJ. I really like IntelliJ, but I think it's much simpler to use Eclipse rather than IntelliJ. Anyway, even though I was trained with Eclipse, I had to work for a company that uses IntelliJ. So it wasn't difficult for me to move from Eclipse to IntelliJ because they all kind of operate the same way. They have the same fundamentals. The buttons might be in a different place, and you can just tell your supervisor that, hey, I don't have experience with IntelliJ or NetBeans or Visual Studio. I really don't know where you're going to get the job and what they're going to be using. But I guarantee you, if you know Eclipse, you should be able to use any one of these software. It's kind of like Microsoft Word. If you know how to use Microsoft Word, you can go to Google and use Google Doc or Notepad. So really, it doesn't matter. It might take you a little bit of time to getting used to it, but they will give you all that time and training opportunities to do that. Don't be ashamed to say, hey, I don't have experience with IntelliJ. I worked with Eclipse. Is there anyone who can kind of familiarize me really quickly with IntelliJ or NetBeans? And they will help you out. If they don't help you out, just go home and watch a few videos and familiarize yourself. And after you get the job, I'm with you for 6 months to make sure, more than 6 months, but I say 6 months. Hopefully you don't need me for 6 months, but if you need me to, I go extra length. I will work with you every evening. Sometimes even when you're in your office, I could be connecting there and see your machine and assist you with coding and stuff like that. So there's going to be all that support there for you, so don't worry about it. Now, most of these IDEs are free. You don't have to pay anything. Now, if it's not free, then it's going to have some sort of free version and then an upgradable version. So either free or have a free version. Like Eclipse is completely free. They don't even have a paid version. They don't even charge money for it. IntelliJ has a community free version, and then you can pay for an expensive version for that. Okay. So that's all the concepts that you're going to be learning today. Are there any questions? Pasting the notes. Let's see, there's a couple of questions maybe. Okay. I'm not sure what the question is. So the notes are in the chat box. Are you all with me so far? Give me some shout out.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Do you guys want to take a 5 minutes break before we start the installation?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Let's take
Thank
5 minutes
you.
break. We'll come back and start installing all these two things, the Java and Eclipse, into any one of your machine, while the others are going to watch. I highly recommend that after the class, you follow the same steps that I'm going to show you to install it in your own machine. My phone is going to be on. I need a feedback from you, whether you were successful in installing or not. I'll see you in 5 minutes. You guys are back. Just type in the chat if you're back. Okay. All right. So for Java, for JDK, two things you have to do. One, you install JDK, and after, well, let's make it three things. One moment. Yeah, you download first. It's a file. Download the .exe file, or it's called executable. Once you download the executable file, you look at the file and you double click on it to install the file. So 2 steps right there. The third step is set environment variable. Okay, it's really simple. I know we're trying to put it all in a structure for you because I wanted it to have some sort of documentation that if you wanted to go back and remember, but it's not at all that difficult. And for the IDE, which we're going to be using Eclipse, 2 steps. One, you download the file. And you double click to install the file. And I want to add a third thing in there and make sure Java, make sure Eclipse connected with Java, or make sure JDK is integrated. JDK is integrated into the IDE. So what happens is when you first download and install JDK and then you install Eclipse, Eclipse is smart enough and it looks into your computer and able to tell that, hey, you already have a JDK, so I'm going to bind myself or connect myself with the JDK that you have. So it will automatically do it for you. Now, sometimes it doesn't. And if it doesn't, nothing is going to work. In that case, you're going to have to do it yourself manually, which I will show you how to do that. Now in JDK download install, then you might be asking, what is this set environment variable? Well, if you download JDK and install it, it doesn't do anything. But if you set environment variable for it, then you're telling your computer that, hey, I want you to connect this JDK with my internal machine. So when I write code in Java, I want you to convert it into bytecode and let it control my machine. You're basically giving him access to your machine's CPU and all the components that's there. So that's very, very important to do that. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So now I am going to implement these steps into one of your machines, and Annie, you got selected. So I'm going to be installing this in your machine. So I'm going to make you the presenter, and I would need your keyboard and mouse control. So go ahead and accept when you're ready. Annie, are you there? Can you hear me?
Sorry, Mridul, I'm back. Yeah.
Okay. Did you see a window pop up for asking your permission to
Yes.
select a screen, and first click on a screen you want to select,
Screen.
and then click on share button.
Share.
If you don't see that window, oh, there you go. Okay. See it now. All right. Let me just make this a little bit bigger here. Hey, everyone, can you all see her screen?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So what I'm going to do is first I want to open up CMD. And I noticed she had it bookmarked or pinned it to her taskbar right here, which is very nice. I can type in, let me see if I can enlarge it.
Entering.
I can make it bigger here. Nice. I'm going to make this window a little bit smaller. So if I type in Java space version, enter, it's not recognized. JAVSE space dash version, also not recognized. That's very good. Good candidate for installing all of these. Now, the easiest way, I have made it for you already here. I'm going to do the hardest way, but I'll show you. If you want to go the easy way out, you can click on this installation and intro to Java class. You can go here and scroll down to down here where it says Java Eclipse download instruction, and you can just click on this button and it's going to download the JDK file for you, and then you can follow that step there. Or you could be clicking here, download Eclipse, it will do that for you. But what if you didn't have that? What you would do is you would go to Google, and here you would type in download JDK. Okay. You want to click on the link that is owned by Oracle, because that's where it's coming from. Any other company trying to sell you that or download, you may be downloading bugs or virus. So don't do that. Just go to the main. So I'm going to click on this. Takes me to this particular page, and it has some information here. It's telling me that Java 17 is LTS. LTS means latest stable, most latest stable version. Also it says is the latest long-term support release for Java SE platform. And then it says there is a Java 19 and JDK 17 binaries are free. Okay, you don't need all of this, but look at this here. JDK 19 will receive update under these terms until 2023 of March, when it will be superseded by JDK 20, meaning 20 will take over and they will no longer provide any kind of fixes if there's any problems until 2023. So that wouldn't be a good one for us to work with. But look at this. JDK 17 will receive update under these terms until at least September 2024. So they are finding that this 17 is a stable, much better version, and therefore they want to back it up a little bit longer. We want to take that. We have two tabs here. One is Java 19, Java 17. Obviously, I'm going to click on Java 17 because that's what I want. If I scroll down, then I see several tabs here. One for Linux operating system, one for Mac operating system, and one for Windows. We use Windows, so I'm going to click on Windows. It has 3 files here. One is called compressed archive, the installer, and then MSI installer. Look at this right side here. These are the files you're going to be downloading. And all of these have some sort of different extension. The top one is like .zip, middle one .exe, and the bottom one is .msi. What you need, like we talked about in the notes, you're going to need the .exe. So I'm going to click on this .exe. And it's going to start downloading. You can see it's downloading right here. Let it finish downloading. When that's done, it means it downloaded. It says open file. I can open it from here. Or I can go to my downloads folder and it's going to be there. So if you don't see this, go to your download folder and check it. I'm going to go the hardest way. Normally I would just click here, open it up, but I'm going to open up the downloads folder, show you that it's there. So I open File Explorer. Wherever you see these quick links, I see this downloads folder right here. I can go here. I can navigate it from the main C drive as well. Not a problem. But I'll just go ahead and double click on this download. And notice this very top one right here, JDK 17 window. That's the file that we're looking for. What type of file is this? Application type of file, meaning you can double click and it's going to run something for you. So here we go. I'm double clicking on it. It's going to open up, ask for permission, most likely. Let's see. I can't actually see any. Do you see a window pop up saying, would you like to proceed? If you can click on yes.
I do.
Okay. Yeah. Windows is, as soon as I double clicked on it, Windows went gray and it's asking, hey, you're trying to do something to the system. Are you sure you want to do this? So have you clicked yes on that window?
Yes, I do.
You did? Okay. An installer should have already opened up right here. I see in her taskbar right there. So if I click on it, there's that installer now. So here, you don't have to do anything. Just click on next. It's giving you some information. Annie, I lost control of your mouse. Can you click on this next? Okay, just wait right here. Over here, it's telling you where it's going to be saving it for you. Pay attention to this path at the very bottom down here, where it says C:, program files, and then Java, and then JDK. So inside that Java folder, inside that program files is where they're going to save it for you. You don't need to change it, leave it the way it is. Click on next. And now it's going to do its thing. Okay. So at this point right here, it's telling you that it's done. And the very top it says successfully installed. The bottom over here where it says next steps, you don't really need that. That's where you can click on. It's going to take you to a website where all the Java code books and free things are there. You can learn and read it. All of those good stuff. Since everything is free, all the books and everything is available online. And it's called API documentation or tutorials, videos, whole shebang. But we don't need that. So at this point, you just click close. Okay. Now we have Java, but our next step is we have to tell your computer that I'm going to give you access to this JDK so that JDK can control my machine with the code that I'm going to write. In order to do that, you would have to set an environment variable for it. So you're going to have to look for where that window is. So, and you go ahead and put your cursor in that search box in the bottom and type the words system environment. SYS, system, S, not C, SYS. System space environment. Okay, yeah, and you can stop here. Look at the very, look at the very left top suggestion that's there. It says edit the system environment in blue. Yes. And then bottom it says control panel, meaning that is something contains inside the control panel. That's what you want. And you can click on that. A window is going to pop up like this. Over here, you can set up the system environment. Bottom right corner, you see a button says environment variables. Yes, you click on this one. And then this opens up. It has two sub windows inside. The top says user variables for any. You don't need that. But the bottom part says system variables. You see what I mean? That's where you need to change things. Okay. So there's two things you have to do here, and I'll walk you through the steps. Now, Annie, go ahead and open up the File Explorer while this is still open. In your taskbar where the files are, folders are, double click on that. You can't see it because you are going to have to click on this arrow to see the other ones, or type in File Explorer. Yeah, right there. Yeah. Yes. There you go. You got your File Explorer. Now you're going to have to find where that Java is. So I'm wondering why it doesn't show you that left side panel. This is not the classic view. In the bottom right corner, do you see another icon on that window? Bottom right. Go all the way bottom right. Yeah. See, there's one selected, the other is not. Click on that. Yes, go ahead and click on it. Yes, please. Now you see that view. Now on the left side, if you can scroll down to where you see C:. Yeah. All the way down. I don't know why it's not showing you my computer piece. Okay, scroll up. And just giving you all the shortcuts all the way up. Click on the desktop. I want to see what it shows. Double click. See that this PC just popped up on the top? Right there, click on that. This is your root directory right there. What I want to see It's the very bottom where it says Windows C. That is your memory location, and all those other things that you see are a bunch of folders inside that main memory. And this is not our best way to display all this, but what are you gonna do? You have to find a way to get to it. So go ahead and double click on this Windows. So we're now inside the main memory, and here are the folders inside the main memory. By the way, all the other folders you saw is somewhere inside these folders. We don't know which one is where. Well, we know where the Java is. Can you tell me where the Java might be?
Maybe.
Remember when we downloaded, it was telling us where it's going to be? Correct.
Yeah, it was in program file.
Program files. So double click the program files. Now we're inside program files. There should be a folder called Java. And there it is. Double click that. Let's go inside. And then we see something called JDK 17. That's the version. Double click, go inside JDK. Okay. Now wait right here. This is the path we are going to need to copy from here and give it to the system environment and tell them that, hey, I want you to come down here and pick up all these files from here. So to copy the path, to take the path, all you have to do is click on the path bar at the very top where it says Java, arrow, JDK. Click on that. Don't click on that word. Click on the empty space on the right side of that arrow. Yes, click on it. See what just happened? As soon as you click on that empty space, the whole path shows up and it's already highlighted for you, anticipating that you're about to copy this. Now press Ctrl C, Annie, to copy. Let me know if you're done. Control C. Yeah, if you press Control C, it already copied it in your clipboard. Now go ahead and click on the other window right behind it where the system environment is. Right next to it. Don't minimize it, leave it there.
Okay.
Right behind it, the window that says on the right side. Yeah, go on the right side. See the window right behind it? Just click on it. Yeah, click on that. There you go. Now, behind window came forward. And what are you going to do here is click on this new button on the bottom window. Go ahead. And where it says variable name, I want you to type in all capital Java. Now put an underscore, which is the shift minus button. And then write home, H-O-M-E, all capital. H-O-M-E. Okay, that's it. That's the name. Can't change it. That's how it has to be. And for variables, variable value, the bottom box, paste it right here. Paste that URL or the path. So Control V is going to paste it for you. Or you can right click and select paste. That's going to do it for you too. This is what you need to have over here so far. Any questions on this?
No, it's good.
Just by doing this, you're telling the system to go in that file and grab all those things that's there and give it access to control your computer. Now click on OK. Annie, you can click OK. Okay. Now you should be able to see that Java underscore home inside this bottom window. Do you see it?
Yes.
where your cursor already was. The bottom window where's the system variables, where we in that little box. Check it in that box
Okay. Yeah.
right there.
Mhm.
Yes. So that means you got it. You done it. If you don't see it, that means you have to do it again. All right. The second place where you have to paste this link of the path is where it's called path. Do you see a path right there on the left? Yes. Double click on that. If you double click on path, this opens up. And in here, with all those stuff that you see, you're also going to have to paste your stuff right here. Now, to do that, one thing different you have to do is you have to go inside the bin folder. So go back to that window that had that JDK in it. I see it down here, not that one. A little bit below. Go below. Yes, click on that. Click on that. There you go. Okay. On the top left corner, you see a bin folder. That's where all the cream of the crop is. You double click to go inside that bin folder. Here's all the Java existing core code is, and you need to provide this path into the path field. So now you click on that path bar on the top. Where we copy the path, remember that bar? Click on that bar on the empty spot of the bar. Top, go higher. No, we're still on that window. Click on that. Move your cursor to the top of this window. Don't click anywhere. Go back into that window again. Now go to File Explorer, where we already were. Go down. I can see it down there. Yes, right there. Click on it. Click on it. Okay. Do you see where it says Java arrow JDK 17.05 and then arrow bin right above your, yes, that's called a path bar. What is it called, Annie? Annie, what is it called? Path bar. Okay, file path bar. Go ahead and click on that file path bar. There you go. It highlighted for you. Control C to copy it. Let me know if you've done it. Okay. Now go back to that window right behind it. From the right side, I can see it. Yes. Click on it. Here you have to paste that. Click on New on the top right corner. Notice it opened up a spot for you. Go ahead and paste it by pressing Control V. There you go. You pasted it. Now click OK to finalize it. Okay, if you want to confirm whether it got pasted or not, double click on that path to open this window back up again. Not delete. Right there where you clicked on the path to open up, do it again. The word path. Yes. Do you see it got still there? Program files, Java, JDK still there, correct? The difference is this one has the word bin, meaning it's going inside the bin folder. Now X this window out, leave it the way it is, or click on OK. Yeah. But look at that other one that we typed in there, Java_home. This one does not have that bin word on that path. That's the difference between these two. Okay. When we go to Selenium, we're also going to bring in another something called Maven. And we're going to do the same thing for Maven. So you will get another chance to practice this. That's all you have to do with your system on installation.
I have
Any-
one more question.
Mhm.
So everybody's installing right now?
No, you guys are just watching, okay?
Oh, I'm just making sure.
Yeah, don't try to follow this along because you're gonna lose track. Just watch and ask me question. You're gonna do
Okay.
this after the end of the class. You have
Okay.
today all day to do this, and you also have tomorrow. Your homework is not due until next weekend. So do it all day long today, tomorrow. If not, do it Monday evening. But I need you to confirm back saying, hey, Stein, I've done it, mine works. Or Stein, I try to do it, it doesn't work. In that case, I need to do a one-on-one with you. Okay? Any other questions before we're done here?
No.
This is it. We have set environment variable. Now click OK, Annie. You also have to click OK here on this previous window to confirm all your changes are there. Now, go to your command line.
Yes.
I will refer this as console sometimes. This is called console or terminal, means the same thing. Now, the terminal was hooked up to your device before you installed Java. So if you type in java-version, hit the up arrow to copy that command. Hit enter. It's still not recognized because it was hooked up before you installed Java. We need to restart this command prompt. So go ahead and close the command prompt. Close this window.
TLS.
Close it. No, not clear is not gonna do it.
Oh.
Where
Clear
did it
just
go?
Cut it off.
the X button on the top
put
right.
the command CLS.
CLS is not gonna work just because CLS only clears your screen. It doesn't restart it to the new machine. So, and you open it up again and cut this window off, exit by pressing the X button on the top right corner. Yes. Now open up again. Now it got new connection with your machine. Now type in java-version. Space version. No cap, all lowercase, all lowercase. It might uppercase might work, but that it needs to be all lowercase. It's telling you the version now is 17.05. That means you have Java now. Type in JAVAC compiler just to confirm, make sure that you have the Java compiler with it. JAVAC. Base dash version. Enter. And it's recognized and telling you 17 is installed. That's it. Now she's done with installation of Java. Any questions about this?
So after opening the command prompt, then we have to go to the C drive instead of Windows slash system 32.
You don't have to. You
So
can just
if I
anywhere.
okay,
You could be in any location. It opens up for you and type in this command. It will get recognized if you have Java in your system. Okay. Any other questions? you can't see it. This is Java is something, it's there. You can, this will confirm you that it's there. You can't really use it. IDE that we're going to download is going to use all those codes that you just downloaded, and it will do all the process for you. So this is all you got to do to make sure that you have Java in your machine first. So Annie, you can close this window off now. Let's go to our next step. Yeah, go ahead.
Just wondering, like while you were doing, I did it from the previous lessons, the link, and I didn't do anything else, but I just searched it and it's there. I just
you probably already have it from.
No, I didn't. I didn't.
You didn't?
So what? I just clicked the link, and then I download it, and then that's it. That's what I did.
Okay. Yeah.
And then it's all like, but the extra thing, I didn't do anything.
You didn't set up the environment variable yet.
No, but it's when I search it, both are there.
Do it, because even if it's telling you that it's there, if you don't set the environment variable, or maybe you have done it before, so it's still connecting automatically.
No, I know I did it.
That's okay, Shanjida. What I'm saying is, you are probably not having, if your question is, hey, my command line shows me I already have it and I didn't even set environment variable, do I still have to do that?
Yes, that's right.
The answer is yes. Because you may not have problem right now, but later when we're going to be installing Eclipse and we're going to do some code, the problem might show up later.
Okay. Thank you.
It's like you got a dead body in your closet and you're like, nobody knows it, and it doesn't even smell bad. Do I really need to call the police? Or can I just bury it in the backyard? The recommendation would be that if you try to bury it, somebody's going to come back later, a month down, and they're going to be looking for that body, and they're going to find it in your backyard. Some clue is going to reach you to it, and then you might end up in jail. So if you don't do these steps and you think that, oh, it's working, I'm not going to do it, it will catch up on you later on, and then you will see your system crashing down.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So make sure you have those things set up first. Go ahead, Chisti.
Okay, so can I install it to my host machine and the virtual machine at the same time?
I don't know if you can do it at the same time, but you can do it separately.
Okay, so if I use the virtual machine instead of the host machine, do I have any problem in future?
No problem. As long as your Eclipse is also in your virtual machine and because you see, virtual machine means like you created a brand new machine out of an existing machine. So all your stuff inside that virtual machine has to be in one place. You can't say, it's like Highland Park City inside Dallas. Okay, it's a city inside a city, and you can't have a library inside Highland Park, but a school inside the Dallas, and then say they're the same city part, and we can have access to that. No, Dallas is going to say, no, you need to have your own stuff inside your own city boundary, or we're not going to give you access to that. You can't call it yours. So if you have a virtual machine, you have to have your Java and your Eclipse and your system environment set up all inside that virtual machine for it to work. You can't say, nah, I got one thing here, the other thing over there. No, not going to work.
All right. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, Annie, let's go to the next step, our Eclipse installation. So if you go to Google again, it's also free. And type in download Eclipse.
Download what?
Eclipse. Where you see this first link that says www.eclipse.org, you are getting this Eclipse from the main source. Click on that. Click on allow cookies. Let this website give you what it wants to give you. On bottom right corner.
Where do you see that?
Orange button says allow cookies. Oh, no, not there. Not on the taskbar. Right where it's the gray bar at the bottom on this website where it says decline or allow cookies. Yeah. Take your cursor to the right. To the right. More right. More right. Two words, two buttons right there right on the top right corner of your cursor. One says
White
decline.
and orange button.
White and orange button.
I don't know. Can I, from my side, I cannot see it because all the names are here on the right side.
Okay. You need to minimize that to the tray. On that window, do you see a button that has two arrows pointing to one another?
Uh-huh.
Click on that. Did it become smaller?
I say allow cookie here.
Okay. Do you see that button that has an arrow pointing to one another on that meeting window? Click on it.
Yeah, I did.
Did
It made
get
it smaller.
Okay. There is a several dot button there. You can drag and drop it somewhere where it's not going to interfere with your screen. Drag that whole bar somewhere, maybe on the bottom left corner of your screen. Bring it like to the bottom left corner of your screen or something.
I'm trying. Hold on.
There's a special spot where you have to click on it to pull and move it. You're going to see like several dots there somewhere, which is like the handle.
Moving, but I don't know which way I'm going.
Move it and drop it in the very bottom.
Like this?
Bottom left corner of your screen. I can't see it.
I did it. Okay. And
All right, I maximize this one. Top right corner, the square button will maximize your screen. Yes, click on that square button. There you go. Okay. So in this page right here, if you scroll down, there's going to be somewhere where you can download the latest version of Eclipse. So scroll down. Right there on the left side. Notice install your favorite desktop IDE package, and then it says download 8664. And on the top, it says the Eclipse installer now includes a JRE for Mac OS, Windows, and Linux. So go ahead and click on that yellow button that says download 8664. Takes you to this site, this page. It has another button that says download. Click on that. And now it's doing the download for you. Right there on the top right corner, you can see it's installing. Downloading, at least. Okay, you can even click here to open it up. So go ahead and click on open file.
the one
top.
which one, the top?
Top one. The bottom one was that Java thing that we already did.
Okay.
So click on that open file. Here's your installer opening up. Don't click twice, just it's already working. Look at that. It's doing its thing. There's a window in the center of your screen. You just give it some time. It's gonna go through some steps for you. First thing, it's gonna tell you what type of Eclipse do you wanna install. The very top one says Eclipse IDE for Java developers. That's what you want. You want to click on that. This screen tells you where they're going to store it. Look at the very top, well, actually in the center part, there's two information given to you. One is Java 17 virtual machine. Yeah, you see, it already knows that your Java is right there in program files, Java, and then JDK. It picked it up. And it's also telling you on the bottom that Eclipse will be downloading on this path. Look at the path. It says NEB. We're going to be in NEB folder. Inside the NEB folder, we're going to create an Eclipse folder. Put your cursor there so everybody else can see. Yes. And then inside Eclipse, we're going to have a folder called Java 2022. And then we're going to put all our Eclipse stuff right there. Any question?
Nope.
The checkbox that says create new menu entry and then create a desktop shortcut icon. So it's going to do that for you. If you uncheck it, it won't do it. We'll leave it the way it is. Click on install. Accept. And let it do its thing. That's pretty much it, guys. Once it opens up, we should be able to start writing codes in here. I'm just going to do a simple little test to make sure everything works. And then I'm going to take over the presentation and show you a couple of programs that we're going to build, explain the homework to you, and be done for the day. Installation completed successfully. You can click on Launch. Close this window, please. Yes, click on Launch. There you go. When this opens up, what you want to do is right-click on that icon on your taskbar and pin it to your taskbar. Yeah, bring your cursor all the way down on the taskbar. See that Eclipse icon, circular globe icon? Right-click on it. Right-click. Your cursor has to be on it. Bring your cursor on top of that icon.
Now right click.
The blue circle icon. Yes, right-click here.
I did.
No, you're left-clicking on it. Right-click on it.
Oh. Give me a second, Baba. Hold on.
Does it give you a menu? No, it opened up again. Cancel. Click on cancel on this window.
Why this? Okay.
Okay, Annie, let me do this. I'm gonna make myself presenter and then make you presenter again. Okay, it will reinstore my mouse control.
Okay.
So one moment. All right, accept.
Share.
Same way. Make sure you click on the screen. There you go. Yes, I have mouse control. So here's what I meant. There's your icon down here somewhere, right there. Let's see how many you have opened up. See, there's 2 windows opened up, meaning you may have clicked on it twice. So it's waiting for 2 different windows. We don't need that many. Just gonna click cancel. So here, there's one of them, and there's another one here. I think you already selected that. So I can right click on this. Oh, damn it. It doesn't show me, or I can't see the window that pops up. Do you see a window here pop up?
Yes.
Okay, I can't see it, so I won't be able to select it. But do you see an option that says pin to taskbar?
Yes.
Can you click on that pin to taskbar?
Sure.
Okay, now it will pin it right here. So every time you come in, you just look at this icon, click on it, it's going to open it up for you. Understand?
Okay. Yeah.
It's like a little shortcut for you. Now, every time you open up Eclipse, it's going to tell you that, hey, I got this location right here called users, Annie, and Eclipse workspace folder. We're going to put all your stuff in there. You have a choice to say, no, I don't want it here. And you can open this up and say, I want you to put up my stuff in some other folder. You can create all that stuff. You have control over that. But don't worry about it. Just leave it the way it is. You could check here and say, don't show me this window over and over. I got this. That's where you want to put it. Or you want to leave it like that. That's fine. Just click on launch. Every time this window will ask, do you want to put your work here? Or do you want to put your work somewhere else? You have the choice. I'll click on launch and Eclipse is going to open up shortly. Just a second. Meanwhile, I'm going to close these windows. We're not going to need them anymore. I don't know why this window is still there. Should have already gone. So something is with this. It's still stuck. Oh, there you go. There's the next button. We don't need that anymore. First time ever you open up Eclipse, it looks like this. It gives you this page with quick option to add code, start up some things, start up a project or so forth. You really don't need this. You can click on this X button to close this and be done with it. This only opens up first time. And I'll click on X and I'm done. All right. What are you seeing here? It looks like Microsoft Word, by the way. If you notice, it has these files, the edit, the source, and some other things, run and Windows. A lot of these options right here we're never going to use. There is a handful of things, maybe about 10% stuff that this software is capable of doing that we're going to be using. And I'll teach you all of them. That's all you need basically to run an automation framework. A couple of things you want to point to is that in the left side right here, you have this package explorer. It's very tiny, I know, but you can see it, I'm sure. This package explorer is the same thing as this file explorer that we've been opening up. This thing. But a spot for you to organize your stuff that you can see it here. Instead of keep on opening up File Explorer, you can just manage your files right here. You get to see your files here in this main window. This is where you're going to write your code. And when you run your code, there is a run button. And the top right here, see that DVD play button? If you hit that play button, it's going to run it for you. And the result is going to be posted down here. This is called console. Okay. The right side window, we're going to use very little, but over here, this will help us find out debugging variables. We'll talk about that later. So your main thing is going to be in the center and this package explorer right down here. Now, because you don't have anything, it's telling me that, what do you want to do? It's asking me, do you want to create a Java project? Do you want to create any project? Do you want to import an existing project you already have in here? You're welcome to do all of that. We're going to do something from scratch. Before I say anything, let's talk about what a project is. A project is where all your code is going to be inside. It's technically a folder. Inside that folder, you have all your code connected together. It's like you are a building contractor. You want to build a building. And you have a project to build a building. To build that, you have a particular site where you are going to start your construction. So what you do is you go into that site every morning and you put your bricks and your 2x4s and stuff, and you start putting them together. That's actually what we're going to be doing. We're going to have a project of building Java application. We're going to select this spot right here, and this spot is where Eclipse was telling you that it's going to be inside Annie's folder, and it's going to be called Eclipse Workspace. And inside Eclipse Workspace, you get to call it another folder name, which is a project name, and then start building your building in there. Okay? That's what we're going to do. Two ways you can start. You can right-click in this empty spot, and it's going to give you this menu. Come on. Maybe it's giving me a menu, but I can't see it, or you guys can't see it. Only Annie can see. Some presentation drawbacks are there, but no problem. You can click on File and click on New, and then it gives you this option, a whole lot of things. All you need is this top one called Java Project, and you click here, and then it's gonna give you a window saying, what do you want to name it? Right? I'm gonna name this project called, let's call it Intro to Java. Okay, it's the same name as the class name today. So your project name has to be all lowercase, Intro to Java. I would put underscore. It's finicky. It doesn't allow certain symbols and so forth. But we're just gonna use this, and I'll give you a idea of different types of wordings in shortly. But I just want to make sure this works in our machine. So intro to underscore Java. The reason I'm writing it like this so that it looks nice, it's readable, but I don't want to put a space in here. Understand, going forward, you don't want to have a space in any kind of name. Space is bad for Java. Don't use it. There's a lot of customizations you can do here. You don't need to do anything, all right? Except you don't need this called create module info.java. You can uncheck this one because this will add an info folder for you, which you don't need. Make sure that Java 17 is selected. If not, then your system did not recognize the Java 17 that you installed before. At this point, you click on Finish. You can click on Next if you want to, not a problem. You can finish it here. This just takes you this informational window telling you that there's going to be this folder like this called Java, Intro to Java. Inside that folder, there's going to be this thing called SRC, which is short for source. Anyway, I click Finish. There it is right there, Intro to Java. Open it up. and I have several things. If you remember from the tutoring, from the notes that I told you that there's going to be something called a JRE inside your Java JDK machine. Every time you create a Java project, this folder will come with it. What is it? Well, it's like Santa Claus has his all the gifts and goodies in his bag. That's like the Santa Claus's bag. What that means, if I open this up, it's the system library. All the other developers that added their code is right in here. This is where all the magic comes from. You never have to use it from here. It's just gonna sit there, do nothing, okay? But whenever you write code inside this source folder, anytime you need this code help, you can just call it without even opening this up, and your code will recognize that, oh, I need to go to the Santa Claus's bag and get this goodie toy out. All right. So just know that this JRE has all the previous developer codes in here that you are able to use. It's like this magic, all the magic wand and spell is right in here. And I'll show you how those spells open up. You are given this folder called source. So you actually got this intro to Java folder, and then you got the source folder. If you want me to show you where it is, I'll show you. Look at this. Here's Annie's stuff. If I go to this PC, C drive, users, Annie, and I go to Eclipse Workspace, just like it says right here. I got a folder we just created called Intro to Java Project, which is right here. If I double click open this, I got this bin stuff right here is all the JRE files are. Probably it's hidden. Or is it inside settings? No, it's hidden, you can't see it. But it's there, somewhere hidden there. But if you open up the source, that source folder is the same as this source folder right here, where we're going to be writing codes. So first thing I want to do is right click on this folder and say, okay, I want to write code, but I want you to put it in a package. Package is another folder, but all your code has to go in a folder called package. So always create a package. It's asking to give it a name. I'm going to name it, call it class activity, but all lowercase. Class activity. I did not put a space. I didn't put anything, just class activity, all lowercase. I finish it. I got a package. Inside this package, I'm going to create my first coding file. Understand that so far we've been just creating folders. And you just learned a new name for folders. This top one is called a project. And inside you have this source folder. And inside the source folder, you have something called a package. Package is also a folder, but it's a special name package because you're going to be writing code in it. I'll talk more about it, why this is called a package later. Now you right click on that package and you start your code with a something called a class. Opens up this, and I'm going to name this class, let's say, Hello World. At this point, I'm going to go really quickly. I just want to make sure that it works, because after that, I'm going to take it on my end, and then I'll explain this to you. So let me just go really quickly and then explain. On my screen, I can zoom in, so it's going to be easier for you to see. I'm just going to finish this right now, and I get this class open up called Hello World of Java. It already gives me all of this stuff. I'm just going to type something real quick and run it to see if it works. I'll explain this in a second. I see this output come up right here called hello world. It tells me that it works. If it didn't work, it could be that the JRE had a problem, did not connect. I would go to Windows, Preference, and type in JRE. And in here, I would look for install JRE. If I click here, I want to make sure that the JDK 17 was automatically selected. If it didn't get automatically selected, you double click on it, and then you go to click on directory, and you find whoever it is, you select it, select that folder. I'm going to hit cancel right now. It will come up right here, and then you finish, and that's it. That's all you need to check. So this is something that can go wrong when you are installing. Just keep an eye on it. I'm going to cancel this out and exit out of this. Any question about installing Eclipse at this point?
No, but need to have much practice.
Absolutely. As you install it in your machine, it will give you a good practice. So Annie, thank you for being so patient on this. I will take it over right now.
Thank
Okay,
you.
guys, you're welcome. Now that we know how to install, a couple of housekeeping stuff is these are called writing cases. Okay, writing cases. Very, very important that you know this. So when you start working with Java, your writing words or how you want to name things has to follow a specific industry standard way of doing things. If you don't, then they're not going to like your code. So also you have to make sure that your code is nice and clean. I've noticed when you turned in your homework, several of you have used the indentation properly, and your work was beautiful. Every now and then I have students that just throw stuff at the homework paper and turn it in and don't even make sure that they look pretty or not. You want to change that. You want to make sure that your work is presentable. You can't just throw code in there and say, hey, it works. I don't care how it looks. No. It's like going to the kitchen and you cook up something delicious. Yeah, but you made a huge mess in the kitchen. Well, that's part of the whole thing of cooking. You need to create an amazing food. When you walk out of that kitchen, it has to be super clean as well. That's when you get the whole credit for it. So writing code is like that. It has to be beautiful, not just work, has to be beautiful. Several writing cases. First one is called Pascal. Pascal type. Pascal type is where, again, no spaces in these words. So if you wanted to, sometimes it's called naming conventions. Naming conventions or writing cases. So Pascal case is where first letter of every word is capitalized. Example, if I wanted to name something with several words, let's say intro to Java, this I would be capitalized. Intro, the to would be capitalized. To Java. Okay. Here's a real world name that we use. Get list of hotel names. Another example. Find elements. Any questions on Pascal case? Should be pretty simple, self-explanatory. Then we have something called camel case. Very popular in Java. Camel case. In camel case, first letter of the first word is, well, not like that. The whole first word is lowercase. And then following words, first letters are capitalized. Think it like this. How is a camel? I mean, a camel has this hump, right? Here's the camel's head, let's say. I'm not a good drawer, but it goes up like this, and here's the legs. But when you think about camel, it has, the head is down here, and it goes into a hump like this, and then down, and then hump, and then goes down. So it starts with the lowercase down here, the low, and then you add an uppercase in the next word, and then uppercase in the next word, and then uppercase in the next word, and you just keep on going like that. And that's why it's called a camel case. Let's see a couple of examples. What if I wanted a camel case for this naming, Intro to Java? All I have to do is make sure that this I is lowercase. That's it. So this intro like that, but now I have to add this hump to Java like that. If I were to make this a camel case, all I have to do is just take this down. It cannot start with the capital. Okay. So I write get in lowercase list of hotel names. And the last one, find elements, F-I-N-D, lowercase, elements. Any question about camel case? You're probably wondering, why is Stein wasting our time with this simple stuff? Well, I promise you that this get list of hotel name, when you write it in Java, and let's say you wrote this, totally something different. Java is not going to understand, and Java is arrogant because Java is picky about the case. It's case sensitive. So if you say get list of hotels and camel case, and then you try to access that thing with this word, he's just gonna look at you and laugh at you and say, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know your cases. I'm not gonna give you anything. It's not gonna work.
I have one more question.
Sure.
So when are we gonna know we have to write camel case or Pascal case?
Very good question. And I will jump a little bit to answer that because I was gonna tell you that. So your
Okay.
package Your project, let's start with first thing is what? Project. When you're going to name the project, you get to name what project it is. By the way, when you go working for a company, they already named the project for you. They also name the packages for you, but sometimes you may have to create a package yourself. As you get better and better at coding, your boss will give you more access to say, hey, what do you want? You go and do it because now I trust you. You know how to name it. You name it yourself. Or your boss might name it for you and say, I want you to put all your code over here. And you have to follow that. But project is typically going to be named for you, and I would recommend that you use all lowercase. Whenever you hear the word lowercase, that means everything is lowercase. Or uppercase is like everything is uppercase. So an example would be Intro to Java. You don't want any kind of capitalizations here. Okay? Excuse me. Intro to Java. You can also, you might see that they use a case called snake case, which I will explain shortly. Okay, that works too. Then you have package. This is strictly lowercase. Don't use space, don't use anything else. And then third thing, you got your class name. Over here, you want to use Pascal case. And if you write anything inside for variables, and method names in Java, you want to use camel case. Must. All right, you have to. Sometimes in some other areas, you're going to be using snake case, but I don't want to go there. I just want to show you these 4 things. Let's go into expanding this camel case to what is snake case. It's called snake case because it looks like a snake. It's lowercase word with underscore between them. Example, if I take this intro to Java and make it into a snake case, I would write intro underscore to underscore Java. It kind of resembles like a snake, you know, you're going like this and like this. That's why it's called snake case. A few more examples. I could say get list of hotel names. Find element. Any question about snake case?
No.
Notice that it's much more visually appealing and readable than Camel and Pascal case. But unfortunately, only certain places you can use that. Next is train case. Don't tell me I didn't teach you when you go work for a company and they talk about these cases, where you have to use these cases. Train case is all lowercase with dashes between them. Same as snake, looks like this. Intro, instead of underscore, put a dash, like the minus sign. To dash Java. Looks like a train, little compartment and a chain link. get list of hotel names, find elements. I think that's it. That's all I got for you because you understand lowercase is all lowercase, no space, and uppercase is all uppercase, no space. I don't need to go there. Any question here? Having this in mind, that you have to have all lowercase, you may be able to use snake case when you name the project. Just keep that in mind. And your package has to be lowercase. Class name has to be Pascal case. And your variables has to be camel case. Now, armed with this knowledge, we're going to start working on this, our first project right here. So how about we take 5 minutes break and I go and do some examples for you, and then we call it a day. Let's come back in 5 minutes. Any question meanwhile?
Can you put those notes in the chat?
Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I have a question. Why we are going to write the different features of the cases in a different case? Why not using the same case for the whole project?
That's a good question. One thing is to differentiate different things. The naming convention eventually will help you understand what's a package. Because if everybody is using this lowercase in package naming, whenever you see the name of something in all lowercase, you'll be like, oh, I get it. That's a package. When you see a camel case and everybody uses the camel case, then you know, oh, I get that. That's a method or that's a variable. It's kind of like this. Why can't everybody use police officers' uniform? Well, everybody, if even the criminals use police officers' uniform, we would know. Nurses and firefighters, we wouldn't know who is what. The doctors use the police officers' uniform. We don't. But see, you can walk up in a building, and if you see somebody wearing a white robe, then you know, oh, this guy is a doctor. If you see like a blue color scrub, you're like, oh, this is a nurse. And then if you see a police uniform, you're like, oh, this is a police officer. That's what this is used for. If you see this Pascal case, you know it's a class name. And if you see camel case, you know it's a variable. If you see all lowercase, you're like, ah, that's the name of the project. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. Nice example. Thank you.
Yeah, and more of that you will see as we start working on it. Let's restart the time.
Okay.
See you in 5 minutes.
Okay, Stan, are we on break or you'll do something else?
All right, I'm back. Type in back if you're back.
Fine.
Jesse, did you have any question?
Yeah, just for the curiosity, because I need to separate all the classes of these courses completely separate from my host machine. So can I go and use all these classes, that is the 16-week classes and all the assignment in the virtual machine, so that I cannot mess up with other things in my host machine? Can I do it?
Yes, you can.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Make sure you do everything, you save everything inside that virtual machine.
Okay. Yeah, that I'll do. Thank you.
You're welcome. So a couple of things you learned right now, that these are all folders, by the way, a folder. So what is a project? Anytime we talk about a project, this is a big folder with all your Java code. The biggest folder that's inside. Okay. The main folder with all your Java code. Inside the main folder, you have other subfolder. So package is a subfolder inside the main folder. So subfolder inside main folder. And this folder is where your contains all the Java files. Files is where you're actually going to start writing stuff. So you haven't written anything. You're just organizing these things. Okay. These are just for organization. Again, lowercase, always, always. This is the rule of Java, industry standard. You might see some variations here. Either all lowercase, might have a snake case, might have train case. I've seen train case too. Depend on the company and their practice. Class name is the file. Okay. So I'm just going to call it class or Java class. And has to be always Pascal. What is this? This is a Java file where you write code. Okay. So folder, file where you write code. Why did they do it that way? I'll explain another day. Too much for today. But you must follow this pattern. And then inside the file, inside this file, there's not a fourth category actually. This is inside Java class, where you're going to have two things. One is called variable, and the other is called method. And they all have to be camel case. Let's see. Camel case. I have a whole day of class on this method. Tomorrow's class, we're going to focus on this called variable. So just bear with me. I don't want to go there today. Any question about this organization? And armed with this knowledge, let's go open up and see what we can do. What I'm going to do is I have some class practice questions right here. You'll be able to see it on this class side. By the way, these are the notes. Notes are already posted. I'll post more. Here's a class practice. Question asking you, create a Java class called Hello World to print Hello World. You just saw I did that on Annie's computer. I'll do it again to show you slowly. Second one says create a Java class for arithmetic.java to print adds multiplication. This thing basically, it wants expected output that I add these two and the Java will add it and give me that data, or subtract, multiply, divide, and some other operations that I'll talk about it shortly. Third question is asking me to print a smiley face. I'll show you how that's done. And then a scientific formula here. We're going to work on that. Your homework, by the way, is no longer going to be posted in your classes. It's going to be in Google Classroom, so always go there. Few other tips right here. This is optional. You don't need to use this. But if you want to be a nerd and you want to make your Eclipse icons bigger, there's no easy way of doing this. There's a systems way of doing this. You can do it. But if you're fine with what you see on Eclipse, don't even mess around with this. This is for advanced users and you don't even have to do this. I did it because I'm going to present it to you. And I was like, man, it's so tiny. And I had to come up with a way to make it look bigger. So here's my Eclipse. It's loading up. Gave me this window asking me where do I want to save it. Same thing, Eclipse Workspace, launch it. Takes a few seconds. Here it is. I'm going to delete all that first. Clean things up. All right. Yeah, mine is going to look a little bit bigger, thicker. I'm going to pin it to taskbar than yours because I made it this way forcefully. All right. First thing, I'm going to create a project. I'm going to name this the project for the same name as today's lesson. So I'm going to go to File, New, Project. Let me see if I can zoom in here. Damn, it doesn't let me zoom in. Just 1 second. Do you see my zoomed in view?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so it is working. All right. And if I'm writing something, do you see it?
Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. So you're going to use this file drop down, and when it opens up, you select the new and so forth. And this is your package explorer down here. It's going to list you all the package and project name, all the files that you have down here. So let me exit this out. I'm going to go ahead and click on File. Click on the top option, says New. And first thing I'm going to select is Java Project. Opens up this window asking me to give it a name. We'll give all lowercase Intro to Java. And make sure 17 is selected. Down here, create module info. I don't need that. If it's selected, you can unselect it. Mine is unselected already. So I'm going to leave it like this and click on Finish. There I have it. In this folder, I can click on this arrow. Notice there's an arrow here. What you can do is you can expand. You can click on this arrow to expand and it will open up all the content that's inside and you'll be able to see it. Same thing, if you click again, it's going to collapse it and take it away from your view and put it in one little folder for you. So just make sure you do that. So if I open this up, I see two things. One is that system library that's there. All of these files, notice they're in a jar icon because they're called jar files. You see those jar icons because of that. You don't need to worry about that. Just leave it the way it is. Do not ever delete it. And then they gave you a compulsory source folder, SRC. You can always change that name. You can just right click on it and say, I don't like that name and I want to change it. You can right click, you get this menu. You won't find a name called or an option called rename. In Java or coding world, it's called refactor. Refactor is little more than renaming. You're not just renaming it. You are actually naming it so that every other code that's using that name for that folder will also get reconnected. That's what refactor is. More on that. I'll talk about it later. Right now, I don't need to do anything. I just need to create a package where I'm going to put all my Java stuff. So you need to create another folder called package. If you don't create a package, you won't be able to write code and it won't recognize it. So make sure you create a package and put all your files where you're going to write the code inside the package. So I'm going to click on package. Gives me this window, ask me, what do you want to name it? Well, I could say class practice, all lowercase. Give it a name and click on finish. Gives me this package right here. At this point, I can have multiple packages. I can click on the source again, new, click on package. This one I could say homework. This is how you should do your stuff. When you are done with my class right now, today, when you're going to practice, I want you to watch. I am going to upload this video, by the way, in about an hour. I will upload this video, and from now on, you're going to have these latest videos. So watch the video and do all of this class stuff and the foldering scheme that I'm going to make here. Practice every one of them. If you do that, you are going to be 100% when you go for the market, and your confidence is going to shoot through the roof. Also, this is going to be your notes. All your stuff that's inside these classes is going to be your notes. I am not going to give you that anymore. And I'm not going to take notes on Notepad anymore. I'm going to be taking notes inside the Java classes. So use that. I'm going to give this another package called homework. So I'll put all the homework stuff in all lowercase. Notice if I write uppercase, it already warns me right here. Discouraged package name. They don't want it. By convention, package name usually starts with a lowercase letter. So if you forget, just do that. Homework. Hit finish. So I got two things. I'm going to do my class activity here, homework's in here. Let's go to class activity. Inside class activity, I click on it, right click, make sure it's selected, right click, new, and this is where you're going to write your code. It's called class. Okay, class is actually a file, not a folder, it's a file. Inside this file, you're going to write your code. This is kind of like the Notepad TXT file that we've been writing HTML or XML stuff, but it's a little bit fancier, okay? A little bit fancier. I click on it, opens up saying, what do you want to name it? Notice my cursor is in the name box already. So let's give it a name. First one, we're going to say hello world. That's the name we want to give it. This is going to be Pascal case. So H capital, W capital. I don't have to write anything else. It's going to put .java at the end of it automatically. One other thing I want you to first keep on selecting is this one right here. It's called public static void main string short for arguments, args. Don't worry about what this is right now. Just go ahead and always check this so it gives you all of that stuff written up for you that you don't have to write it up. That's all it's going to do. I'll show you what that does in a second. So always check that. More of that, I have a day to talk about it, but not today. So if I now hit finish, look what happened. I got this thing come up here called Hello World. It already added the extension called .java for me. And the file got opened up right here. That .hello world.java opened up. I can close this anytime by clicking on this X button and it will close this tab for me. These are called tabs if you don't remember. I've been using this word a lot. Couple of things, pay attention. It already tells you the package. And Raju, here's that package. You see class practice all lowercase. Looking at this all lowercase, one can tell this is a package name. It has this word called public class, and then the name that I gave, which is Hello World. In Pascal case, if I look at that, I know it's a class name where the code is going to be written up. And me checking that public static void main, it gave me this chunk of code. If I didn't check that box, this would not show up here. Okay. Now, from the very first point, every Java file is going to have a package name. Immediately after that, it could have multiple packages right here, by the way. It's going to have more packages here if needed. You will see that later. The next thing is it's going to have something called public class. I'll talk about public word later. But it's going to have the class name. And this class name, by the way, has to match exactly the same as the file name that you got it here. If you by any chance change a wording or even a case, this may make it a lowercase, the system will throw an error for you because they have to match exact. Okay. It starts with this curly brace right here, and then this curly brace closes at the very end down here. If accidentally you delete this, this whole thing is gonna break. It's gonna give you an error. It's not gonna work. Okay. So that's a class name. Inside the class, what you have is this public static void main. This is called a method. I'll talk more about a method later. But method itself has a curly brace opening right there and closing right here. If you miss it, it's going to give you an error. And all your code has to go inside this method right here. You can have extra lines and do it, and these two brackets, you have to bring them, keep on bringing them down. You cannot have code written in between this code. That's going to give you an error. So all your code has to go right underneath this // in here. Any question about the structure of this class file?
No.
Let's start writing some code.
Just a small query. Like, can we rename the package name?
You can rename the package name by right-clicking and going refactor and rename. That will open up this window and say, what do you want to name it? And then you can change the name and then hit OK, and it will do it for you safely without messing anything up. Yes, you can change that.
Okay, Stein. Can we write our name for the project in camel format?
Project
No,
name,
no, snake.
you can, it's gonna allow you to write it in snake format. Like, look at this. I can right click, say I don't like that name, I don't want to change it. I can go to refactor, rename, but remember where you right click. If I want to change the project name, I want to right click on the project name. Refactor, rename, and at this point, snake case is allowed. Let's say I change it to snake case. Click OK. It got changed.
Yeah, it looks better.
Yeah, you can use that. Watch out though, be careful. Don't do too much of the changing. If you don't do it right, it might throw some errors. I'll show you errors later more. This is an unused line. Line number 11, I don't need. You delete it. Line number 9, you don't need. Delete it. You're like, why is Stein being so picky on lines? Well, that's what's called clear code. Your code needs to be nice and clean. These extra lines, all of this get recorded in your project. And your project, gets heavier and heavier. Java has to look through those lines and see if you have anything in there. All right. So try not to have that. Notice I put a tab and brought my cursor down up here. Not just for you to see, but that's how it's done for every user to use. So make sure you do your code nice and clean. This right side window has its own use, but I am not going to use it for today's class. So I'm going to exit out. You can always bring it back up whenever you want to. Right now, I'm going to close this. So make it a little bit bigger for you to see. Excuse me. Get it out of the way. We're going to need this bottom screen in a second. First concept I want you to learn is called comment. Commenting. Here's my notes, by the way. It's going to be in here. I can copy paste it on the thing for you. So it already noticed with the double / everything turned green. What that means is this piece of the code, it's not going to interfere with anything at all. So I'm going to take this, delete it with the double / I'm going to put all my notes in here. This is called comment. In Java, a comment is written, is used for developer notes. Where the note, where the text will not get compiled. Meaning all this thing that I just wrote here, Java is going to look at this double / and he's going to ignore it. He's going to come here, line number 6, he sees double / he's not going to waste his time reading this. Same thing for here. Not going to waste his time. Same thing for here. Okay? Sometimes developers will put some comments like this inside the code so that the other developers understand what they're trying to do with that particular code. I'm going to be using the same thing. I'm going to take notes like this. This won't get compiled. There's 2 types of comments. One is called single line comment that you just saw using double / twice. All of these, line number 6 is a single line comment, single line comment, single line comment. This is good for if you only have a 1 line that you want to use for commenting. But what if you wanted more than 1 line comment? That's called multi-line comment. And multi-line comments are done. I am going to put a bunch of enter here to create extra lines so that you can see better. But when I'm going to submit my code, I'm always going to take these lines off and then submit my code. So don't get confused with those. So for a multi-line code, let me bring this down here, is multi-line comment uses these symbols. Star, forward slash, forward slash. I think I will need to double check. Let's see if this works first here. I'm going to do star. I may have got this other way around. Forward slash, star. No, it's forward slash, star, star, forward slash. Yes. Notice it turned green. That means I can write anything in here. It's not going to get counted. So it's forward slash, star, star, forward slash. And you write your text in here. So that's what I'm going to do here. I can write multiple lines right here. I can write this line right here and hit an enter. Just make sure that your line ends with that and your begins with that. That way you don't have to keep on typing this. You can just create it once and then write this stuff, hit another enter. Automatically, it will add these extra star here and comment this entire code. Any question about commenting?
Does this follow, this has the same pattern in XML or JSON anywhere for the multi-line?
All right.
Thank you.
One. Okay. So the very first thing I'm going to show you here, it's called Hello World. We're going to print the word Hello World after we run the test. Now, this is your printer right here. It's called console. Now, anything you can output in here from your code from here, basically you are generating an output. Now, this output can be made fancy and presented in a beautiful way through HTML. We're not going to do that. But that's what the companies do. So they write code right here and you run it and it comes and it brings the something right here, which I'm going to show you in a second. That stuff that you see here, they put some code to make it in a fancy little page, and then it shows up in that page. It could be either an input box, you type in something and you hit the button, and then button is that basically run button. So when you hit that button and then something shows up right here, that shows up is the same thing as this console stuff that's going to show up right there. Again, we're not going to go in to show you how to create a software that they put it in a nice little page to do that. All I'm going to do is we're going to write code here and hit the run button. This could be a submit button, for example, and then the stuff we want to see is going to show up in the console. Question? Okay. So I want to run this code so that it prints, hello world, this is my first program. What I have to do, you have to memorize this code. There's no way out, but it's used a lot. And if you don't want to memorize, it does give you a little bit of hint. So watch this. You can write system, has to be capital, SYSTEM, Pascal case. Why? Because it's actually a class name. So if I write system and I put a dot, look, magic happens. As soon as I put dot, it went into this JRE library and it looked into like one of the files that has this system information in it. I really don't know where. I don't even want to look at it. But it looked in there in one of those jars and it found a goodie Santa Claus is carrying called system. And he said, hey, if you put that dot, it opens up with that goodie bag and says, hey, in that goodie bag under the system, I got a lot of stuff right here, a lot of toys. Which one do you want? Well, you need to know what toy does what. And I'm in this program going to give you a knowledge of what does what. Now, there's a million things in here that these toys can do. Honestly, I don't even know like 10% of all the things that's there. You really don't need that 10%. If you know that 10% or 20%, hey, you're a rocket scientist. Honestly, nobody knows. Everybody knows a little bit of little things here and there to get their work done. Even the Java developers, they don't know the whole thing right here. So don't panic. One thing you do need to know is called out. You can type in OUT. It's narrowing it down for you. It's telling you already a hint that there's two things here. It's called out. Let me zoom in so you can see. Or, so do you want this out right here, or do you want this set out? So set out does something, out does something, and you need to know which one does what. For this particular reason, you need to use this out, and then you put another dot, and that opens up another goodie bag inside that out, and it gives you a list of these goodie stuff right here. If you only remember a little bit of it, which is print, P-R-I-N-T, so dot, P-R-I. If the window goes away, all you have to do is just click on, delete this dot right here, and then put it back again. It's going to open up this window for you. So watch this. It's not giving me any window right now. I am going to delete all the way up to the dot, put the dot again, gives me this window, and I can type in print. And now it gives me all the options with this print that I can select. And this print is actually print the words for you. Now there is a print with a float, int meaning integer value. There is a character value. There's a Boolean. We'll talk more about this later. But there is one that doesn't have anything at all. And it has something called print ln, meaning a line. So if I go back and type in print ln, notice this first option that popped up, that's what we want. And in the bracket here, this is open close parenthesis, by the way. It doesn't look like it. It looks like a 0, but that's because I zoomed in on it. This open close parenthesis, and it doesn't have anything, says void. That's the one you want. You type that in there. Let me exit out. I go back again. Dot println ln and hit enter. If I hit enter, it brings this code for me already. And inside this parenthesis, whatever I'm going to type, it's going to print it right here. So I'm going to type hello world, but remember in database, we were using single quote. In Java, you have to put stuff inside double quote and 2 double quotes. By the way, if you click 1 double quote, this editor gives you 2 and puts the cursor inside the 2, already anticipating that you are about to write something inside, so it helps you write it for you. If I exit out and type in hello world, that's it. Now if I run this program by clicking on this run button here, the DVD play button, this window pops up and says, do you want to save this before you want to run it? You can always click on OK, or you can select this always save resources before launching. That way, next time this window won't pop up and it will save it for you all the time. Otherwise, it will keep popping up and asking you for it. I click OK. Look what just happened. Down here, you got this console window. In console window, this got printed out. That's what it does. It just, that command, system.out.println is going to print this for you in the console. Any questions about that code piece? Okay. Now there's a shortcut way of writing this. Instead of typing all of this, you could just say sysout, press the control button and hit enter. It didn't do it. Let me try alt. Different editor has different ways to do it. Alt, enter. That didn't work either. Here's another thing you can do is you can hover over this red line. It's already telling you that there's a problem. Let me elaborate on that for just a second. Notice I wrote sysout. Two things happen. I got the squiggly line right here underneath. It's telling me in red that there's a problem here. This is not recognized. Also, whichever the line number is, it's telling me that in this line number, you have a mistake that you need to fix. Always fix this mistake before you go to writing the next line of code. Because if you don't, this mistake will bleed into this mistake and Java will not be able to tell you properly where the big mistake is. So line by line, make sure you have no mistakes. One other thing is when you have a mistake, it also will tell you sometimes up here. If you have a mistake here in Hello World and you try to compile it, it's also going to put an X button somewhere either here or here telling you that in this entire package, everything is all good, except you got some mess over here that you need to fix, otherwise this project is going to break. So you can open up this one from this X and you kind of follow your X, and then it's kind of like a murder scene. All right, you're like a detective. You follow this little murder clue or a blood trail, and then you go to that actual blood and then dead body, and then you see what you need to do to fix that. Any questions about this debugging tool?
Stan, can we write the aliases instead of the long writing?
Yes, there's a way that you can make this very small, but I don't want to show you today. It's another days of class. Now, I do want to say, if you hover over, notice that it gives you, I can't zoom in, but if I hover over that red squiggly line, it gives me a bit of a hint on this murder scene. It gives me this quick option, 4 quick fix available. It says create a local variable, create a field, create parameters. It's telling you sysout cannot be resolved, meaning it doesn't know what it is. All right. That's because I typed it in completely wrong. But there is a shortcut, and I used to work with that sysout. Here's another. IntelliJ works like this. I can say sout and control enter. That's not working, so they changed it. In that case, I'm going to have to real time go to Google and find help from people. So I would write Eclipse shortcut to write. Notice this already suggested me that there are other people that are typing this already somewhere. So I can take that and look at this right here. To get systemout.println line without typing the whole line, type sysout and press control space. Control space. Okay. I was hitting control enter. So go in there. Here, I'm going to put a single line comment. Shortcut to typing the above code is sysout plus ctrl control plus space bar. Here are little notes for you. I'm pasting this in the chat box so you can copy it from there. So let's see if it works. Sysout control space yes. Look, it's a shortcut for me. Now, I can type in the rest of the stuff here and say, this is my first code, first program. And now if I run it, it's going to show up down here where it says hello world, and then let's see, run, and you got this right here. You got this hello world. This piece is coming from here, this code. Java skipped these lines, went into this line, saw it wanted to print, checked what's inside the code, and printed for you down here. Any question? Println also adds an extra line and goes to a next line and print it. If I take this ln out of here, look what happens. If I take this ln out of here, it's still going to work. Now if I run it, it's supposed to print on the same line right here, but it didn't for some reason. How about I take this ln off from here? Run, there you go. So if both of these are using this print and no line, it's not going to create a line before or after. It's going to print it right next to it. Notice there is no space between here because I never specified a space after printing. This first part is coming from this line 16, and this part is coming from line 19 and no space. In that case, when you have this written up, you have to create your own space. So I put a space right here, and then if I run it, it's going to give it that space. That's it for this particular example. Any question?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So suppose we are writing all that write up in a same line.
Mhm.
So if we put the println command in the very first line,
Mhm.
and we don't put the ln command on the following comments, so it will make the different lines, is it?
Let me give an example here. It's a good question. I think I did not really go deeper into this, but I'm glad you asked me. Suppose I want to create a paragraph. So I'm happy with what I got here. What I can do is, once you have this set of code, you can just copy it. If I wanted to copy this line of code down here, there's a shortcut key. So let's see if that works. First, let me try this. Sometimes it works and it doesn't. Control Alt down arrow works. So here, shortcut key to copy the entire line. These shortcut keys are so helpful. It will make you faster in coding, always use it. Put it in your toolbox, in your notes. I will list them in the notes for you as well. So it's Control plus Alt plus down arrow on your keyboard. If I did that, then it copied this entire line down here. I'm going to do it again. Let's say I'm going to do this. I'm going to make sure your cursor is on the line you want to copy, and then press Control Alt down arrow. Look at this. One more. There, I got 3 of these. All I have to do is now change the wording. Okay, I'm going to say, I am very excited. This stuff is easy. I know I will be successful. Okay, imagine you wanted to put this in a separate paragraph, right? My recommendation, first thing you want to do is go ahead and hit the run button and see how it looks. Also notice that I have added a space on purpose. I got used to doing space here because I automatically know that I need this space right after this period. This space will be used, and then this will get connected right after it. Okay, so if I run it now, I got all the stuff that got wrapped up in here on the same line, which I didn't really want it. So I needed a break. I wanted this to be a separate paragraph. How are we going to do that? Well, you can have between this and this, you can have a fake line with no data in it. How are you going to do that? Well, create. So this is separate paragraph. Or new paragraph. And over here, this, you want a line with no text. For that, all you do is the same thing. You take the sys out, control space. In the quotation, you write nothing. So if you write nothing and you got this line right here, so it's going to add a line. Now if you run this, you got this first thing. Hello world, this is my first program coming out of these 2 statements. And then you got a line break with nothing in it that gave this particular line right here. And then you got the next statement here. And you're like, nah, it's still on the next line. I needed one more line space. Well, then copy this down here. Control Alt down arrow copies one more. Run it. Now you got this one more line between those 2 chunks. And to fix things up, there's this space that's not needed. You go in here right in front of this I am very excited. You look for I am very excited. And there's that extra space right there. You take that off, rerun it. And now you're like, yeah, that's more like it. That's what I wanted. Question?
Yeah, if I omit the space between I and the double colon, can I make the space at the end of the line full stop, then I make the space and then the double colon? Then will it be the same where the new line will be, the new text will be started by giving a space between that?
Correct. Very good observation. That is correct. I can put a space here.
Yep.
I take off the space here. But space here, take up the space here. It will be exactly same thing. Personal choice. Any other questions? Okay, then let me wrap this up. How am I going to wrap this up? Well, I'm going to look at this code. I'm going to clean it up. Comments are there. Space is fine. Space is fine. No space needed here. I'm going to take this space out. No space needed between these two brackets, but they have to be there. You delete one, it's going to give you an error. But no extra lines needed here. So I'm going to take off these extra lines. Let me zoom in. I'm going to go to 38 and hit a backspace, 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 backspace up to here, and I am done. By the way, if you miss this bracket right here, look what happens. I got an X mark telling me there's a problem. If I run the code, it's going to give you something like this. It's going to say errors exist in required projects and project name. Do you want to proceed anyway, even though we found an error? If you say yes, proceed, it's not going to run it for you. And it's going to give you an error. And it's going to say exception in the thread main, Java Lang error, unresolved compilation problem. It wasn't able to compile, that means. It's giving you the best help it can, but it's robot, understand, it's not human. A robot has his own way of telling you what's wrong. Notice syntax error. It's also suggesting insert this bracket to complete the class body. All right. To me, it's like, yeah, it's spelling it out where your mistake is. But also look at this. It's telling you your class practice dot, where is it? Where's the issue? Hello world. And then you go to this main. That means this class practice is right here. Let me get this pen tool out. My pen tool is not working. Come on. You're working here, but you don't want to type in here. That's weird. Anyway, this class practice right here, look at all this X mark. Now it's telling you, you got a problem in your project. Where is it inside the project? It's inside the source packet folder. And inside this class practice, and if you open up the class practice, that's where your problem is. And you're like, okay, let me open that up. So you double click and open this up. And you're like, where is in this page I got the problem? It tells you right there, line number 31. Look at this. It's also telling you right here, hello world.java, there's your line number 31. In fact, it's a link. If you click on it, let's say you didn't open this, if this was closed and you wanted to click on this, it will open this up, take you to where the murder just happened. That cursor right there. And it's telling you, insert another one. Insert another one. Another one of this in there. Okay? Learn from this feedback. I will have a one-day class to talk about this exception and go deeper and deeper and show you how many types of mistakes you can make, how to recognize them, and the recruiter will ask you a question like, can you describe some of the exceptions that you have faced while building automation? And you have to have a list of 7-8 names and what they do. That will be your deep technical interview. That's when you know that if you pass that interview, you're going to get the job. This is going to be the experts that are going to be interviewing you on this concept. Recruiter is not going to have much information on this. Okay? All right. So I'm going to fix it. Put a curly brace like it talked about. Everything turned white. Notice these did not turn white yet because I did not save it. So Java still doesn't know, but I can save it, hit the save button, and then everything will get marinated with the new stuff that I have. So if I hit that save button, now those X marks are gone. I run it again. This time it did not give me the error window, and it printed out all the stuff that's there for me. Okay. Okay, this time we're going to go a little bit faster. I can close this window out. You can, by the way, right click right here on this bar, anywhere on this bar, and a window is going to pop up and give you an option to close all the stuff that you have here. Very, very handy. Don't keep multiple stuff open right here, because when you hit that run button, Java doesn't know how many things you want to run. It's probably going to run everything. Okay, so always have at only one item open here, not multiple. Just keep that in mind. So I'm going to close this. I'm done with this right here. I'm going to do my next assignment, which is arithmetic. So I'm going to right click on class, go to class, and give it a name called arithmetic examples. Examples. Spelling wrong. And like I talked to you about, always pick this part right here called public static void main. That will write that for you for now. Don't worry about what that is yet. I hit the finish button. I got a new class. Same thing. It gave me this public static void main. It has the project name, it has the class name, and all my code goes here. What do? Is you delete this part right here. You don't need that. Always delete it. It's a fake comment created for you. Now I am going to copy the question. Just 1 second. I'm going to go in here and copy the question and put it inside this code right here. So here's what my homework is supposed to make me do. I encourage you always copy the question before you start coding right in here. Not just for you to help of what you need to do, but also it helps me, by the way, when I'm grading your work, I know that which code goes where, easy for me to see and understand. So the question is asking that when I'm going to print, it's going to print out the result of this calculation. So it's going to print out this, but it's going to do this calculation. Okay. How are we going to do it? Let's take a look at the first one. Same thing that we just learned. You can just do sysout, control space. This box opens up, hit the enter button. It will do that for you. Now I can just type in this mathematics right inside this input box here. But first I'm going to put this double quote and I want to see what you see. Okay. If I take this double quote and take this, copy that, 125 minus 24. Anybody want to take a guess if I now run it? What am I going to see in this console?
It will show the text only. 125 minus 24.
You are right. When I ran it, it's only showing me 125 minus 24 right there. Reason is, with this quotations, Java immediately looks at it like, okay, text coming. I don't need to use my brain. I'm just going to copy what's inside these two quotations and print it out right here. Java shuts down his brain and it's not going to do any kind of mathematics. But If I copy this line down here, so let's make it fancy. 125 minus 24, I can put equal to. This equal sign is also going to get printed out. Hang on a second. If I run this, notice this equal sign got printed out. But I want the result. I want Java to do math. Well, if you want Java to do math, you have to take these quotations out. If now you took the quotations out, Java reads this and it's like, okay, you want me to use my brain? Okay, I'll use my brain. He's going to take this 125, subtract that 24, whatever the result is going to print it over here. So let's run this. Yeah, they printed 101. Any question about quotation and not quotation? Numerical operations will not contain quotation.
I have one
Anything
more
else?
question.
Go ahead.
So can we do in the first one, no quotation, same line, or we have to write double system.out quotation, then without quotation?
Very good question. I don't think I had that idea on this class, but maybe I can add that in there. Yes, you can. You don't have to do two of these. You wanted to do both of these in one line, you can do that. What you have to do is called concatenation. It's a fancy, fancy word. So let me just put some notes in here. Concatenation, if I'm spelling this correctly. Basically, it means, let me put a multi-line comment here. So / **/. By the way, I will revisit this in the next class as well. Concatenation means connecting multiple. For now, I'm just going to say stuff. The word is actually object. I don't want to talk about object right now. I'll confuse you. I have a whole day class for object. Connecting multiple stuff into one long text. Okay. Later, you will see I won't use the word text and we will just call it string. I'll talk more about string later, next time. So the way to do that is by using plus symbol. This plus symbol is, if you pair it with the text, the Java understand you're trying to connect things. How? Here. If I put a plus right here, it's just going to print it out. Like all of this got printed out. But right after this quotation, if I put a plus, Java is like, oh, you wanted to add something. Well, what do you want me to do? Well, you can just copy this whole thing, including the bracket. Keep the bracket so he knows what you're trying to do. That you want to subtract this little piece. So you take that, you paste it right here. I got an open bracket right here that closes right here. See how when I clicked on this open, this got highlighted, reminding me that this one is if this is a husband, here's the wife. Okay. The top part of the sandwich, the bottom slice of bread of the sandwich. And you messed it up, it's going to give you an error. And if I click right here, it tells me there's your bottom slice. Here's your top slice. It will highlight it for you. Now, as Java reading this, it comes to this quotation and it's like, okay, I don't have to use my brain. Copy this. Well, I'll just print it out. And you put this quotation right here. He's like, okay, now you want me to stop here. And then what? Plus, meaning I gotta still do some stuff. Okay, what do you have? Oh, you didn't put quotation. Bummer. Now I gotta use my brain to subtract these two numbers right here. All right, I'll do it. So now if I comment this line down here, and I don't want to do anything there, this one single line, if I run it, it's going to give me the same thing. And there you go. The first part was just a plain text got printed out from here. And the second part, 101, is the mathematics that came from here. Therefore, you can eliminate this entire line and just do it in one line. For this particular question, the answer is that. To make it a little more fancy, you want to put a little space right here. You put a space right here. Run it. That's how it looks like. You want to call it question number 1A. You can copy that. Paste it right here. And a space. Run it. Beautiful. That's as perfect as I want it. Any question?
So when it comes in the double clone, so it becomes the string, right? And if you put the plus sign and you do anything that without the double colon, then it comes as the mathematics symbol. Is it like that?
That's correct. That's correct. I forgot that my first one was this one, actually adding, not subtracting. So I just fixed it to 125 plus 24. Give me that. Once you create this one answer, the rest is easy because you just copy this whole thing. Notice it closed with semicolon, by the way. Remember in database, we were closing in semicolon. That semicolon says that this is where my line ends. Java moves to the next piece with a brand new I. So I copied this whole thing, paste it right underneath the question with the tab. All I have to do is copy this piece in here to print as a text. Change this to question number B. And I don't even have to do the math part because Java will do the math part right here. So I'm just going to copy this mathematics in this bracket, run it, and got the next answer output. Do the same thing for the rest. Change this to answer choice C. This time we're going to multiply. And we're going to multiply here. Run. It's telling me I got a problem. I did that on purpose. So project has a problem. Do you want to run it anyway? Well, you don't need to run it. You know you got a problem. It's not going to run. Notice it's giving me underline right here. And underline right here. It's telling me this token that there's something wrong in here. It really can't say what's wrong, but I can tell you that the problem is this X button. This X is not recognized. It has to be like a Shift 8. Shift 8 gives you this star. The star is the mathematical multiplication in Java. So use that instead. And now the error is gone. Run it. You got that. Answer. Copy this. For this. Change it to D. This time I'm going to divide. So I take this piece. I want to print it out just like that. And I can copy and paste this. Divide, by the way, that symbol works. That slash will divide these two for you. Run it. Divide. Now, what if I wanted to divide and then if there is a remainder, I want that remainder. See, 125 divided by 24, the correct answer is not 5, by the way. It just gave you the how many times the 24 fits into the 25, but it's the correct answer is a decimal. Let me calculator. Here's the correct answer. 125 divided by 24 is actually, excuse me, I multiplied. Divided by 24 gives me 5.2083 something. But unfortunately, if you hit the division button, it doesn't give you all of that answer. It only gives you that 5. Well, what if I wanted to use that rest of the data? There is a symbol, percent symbol, that you can use, meaning it's a remainder. If you want to find the remainder, then you use that symbol. Let me just show you. I didn't write this question properly. You're never going to use it. If I put a percent, or if I say remainder, 25 divided by 125 divided by 24, remainder equals I put the percent symbol, it will give me the remainder. Run it. I didn't. I don't know. That may have changed. I had it in there, but something I have to look it up and refresh it. But again, you don't need that for any kind of testing purposes. So just ignore that question.
This will be the Boolean, right?
Yeah, you know what? I'll search it. Let's see what happened. Java arithmetic operators. You can search like this. You can go to image, and it's going to give you a list of these operators. See that percent symbol divides two numbers and returns the remainder. Is that the real remainder that didn't work here for us? So it divides these two numbers and gives us the remainder. Still gave us 5. So I'm wondering if my symbol that I use is no longer good. Let's see if there's any other ones. That's still remainder right there. I'll talk about the rest of these symbols right here in next week when we do conditional statements. So just ignore this remainder for now. I don't know why it's not working. Any question? So now you know how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide in Java. You can square things. I don't know if this works, but this Shift 6, this will square this 125 with like to the power of 24. There's a lot of other stuff you can do. If I run this, nah, I don't know what it did. But again, you don't need to worry about all that because you're not going to be a data scientist. You just need to understand how to print things up. But adding, subtracting, multiplying, you're going to need this adding and subtracting in some point. Maybe multiply, divide, maybe. Okay. All right, done with arithmetic. What if I wanted to, two fun more things and then we're done. I want to print a face. So let me X this out. We're done here. Save it if it asks you to save it. And let's pick up a face icon from here. Java, create a face. I like this one. Okay. How about we create a face like this in our Java program? By the way, you got a homework to do that, so that's why I want you to do it. So I have my editor open and I keep this face piece right there so that I can see it better. I'm going to go to a new class. So class practice, new. By the way, your homework is going to be here in this project. You would go in, right click and say homework question number 1 or number 2, something like that. Your choice, how you want to name it. So I go to class practice, new class, and give it a name, print face. Print face. That's it. Public static void main, finish, gives me this. So over here, I'm going to go in and print a face. It's for fun. Nothing new. You've already done this. So you write sysout, control space, hit enter, and in here in quotation, you put in this plus thing first, and then you do this first line right here. So I'll put this plus symbol, but I already see a problem here. These are quotation marks. How am I going to print the quotation mark? Is it going to print the quotation mark? Look, I can't even put the quotation mark here. If I put a quotation mark, oh, there you go. Okay. I got this quotation marks. How about a plus sign? But I got an error. Maybe I put less quotation mark. Okay. Still got an error. Look at this. I got an error. It's telling me on this line number 6. And then it's giving me underline right here and giving me an error. Someone tell me why am I getting an error here? I put it the way I needed to put it.
No space should be there.
Maybe. Maybe. Any more elaborations? Let's see
Do
what it
we need
says.
to do it? We need to add the first bracket after every quotation ends.
Square button, I think. Square bracket.
Maybe. Maybe. Possible. Let me hover over and see what it says, okay? So if I hover over, unfortunately, I can't zoom and hover over. It goes away. But it's kind of finicky, okay? Just bring your cursor, play around, hover, and then it's going to be like, oh, you wanted me to suggest you. It says syntax error, insert semicolon to complete block statements. Honestly, that is not a good help at all. But here's the problem. Java went into this and he's like, oh, you wanted me to print everything that comes after the quote. So he's like, I'm good. I'll print this. I'll print this. No, I can't print that. You want me to stop here? Because that is the end of this one. So I'm good with this. I'll stop here. I'll print that. Wait a minute. You want me to print something again inside? But you got nothing inside there. And you want me to stop here? All right, I'm a little confused. And then you want another one? But you wrote nothing in it. What am I going to print in there? And I got a bunch of these. He got all confused and messed up. He can't even give you a proper way of answering. Java cannot print quotation. Quotation tells Java that you just started here, and wherever you're going to stop the quotation is what you have inside is what I need to print. That's what is designed for these quotations to do. Now you're like, well, then how am I going to print that? Bummer. Is that impossible? Well, no, not impossible. There is something in Java that's called escape sequence. Escape, E-S-C-A-P-E. Escape is like you're trying to run away from it. Sequence, okay? Escape sequence is used by a backward slash. when you use this backward slash, you're trying to tell Java that, hey, I know this was designed for you to do a thought process that, hey, anything after that and before that next one, I needed to print. That's what was told for you to do. But with this escape sequence, I am telling you, don't do that. Just do what I say. Understand? So if you now go in here and let me zoom in a little bit more. If I go in here and I say, I don't want you to use this quotation like you're finishing right here. I want you to print that out for me as it's a quotation. Then right before that, you put a backward slash. Okay. Now it's still confused because you got so many. So let me go back and delete all of this. All right. So we are going to start with the plus and then a backward slash. It's still not happy. I'm just thinking, why? If I put 3 of them, no. Let me just run it. I don't know. New Eclipse might have a new way of doing this. I got the plus printed out. So I got the escape sequence backward slash right here. And then a quotation mark. Okay, now it's happy because I cleaned it all up. Now if I run this, notice this single quotation mark got printed out down here. Okay, it just needed you to clean it up because it was all getting a headache. Now you do backward slash quotation, backward slash quotation. Excuse me, I didn't print right. Backward slash quotation, backward slash quotation. Oh, look, the error goes away. Run. All right, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 4 so far. Let me put one more. Backward slash quotation, and there you go. Run it. I got my first line. Any question? There's my first line printed for the face. So use escape sequence used to bypass standard operation. Java operation. Only used before special characters like quotation. You will see a few more come up later down the road. Now the rest is easy. I copy this. I can copy this whole line by Control Alt down arrow, and I just do all of these symbols right here. If there's any problem with the symbol, we can just use the escape sequence. So here's that thing right there. Shift backward slash is going to give you this symbol. I need a couple of space maybe. 0. Well, instead of 0, let's put an O. Maybe 1 space. O, space, space. There's another I. O, space, space. Do that. And then run it and see if it looks okay. No, it doesn't look okay. Then you space it out to make it look okay. So I'm going to space this out a little bit. Space this. Run it now. Kind of sort of okay. I'll leave it here. Maybe 1 more space here. All right, now. Yeah, I'm happy with that. You see what I'm getting? And then bring this down a few more times. Okay. This is the nose part. Still has that. Delete that. And maybe shift or space with an up arrow as the nose. Here's the mouth top piece, which is a single quote. And inside the single quote has a underscore, maybe a space here to align. And everything in here is dashes. Run it. If it doesn't look good, just clean it up a little bit. This is what I got. For the class purposes, I would leave it at this. For your homework, you make it beautiful and play around and learn this spacing and sequence and stuff like that. Any question about this escape sequence and how to print a face?
No.
All right. The next one is scientific numbers, and it really is nothing. I just wanted to show you that you can do multiple mathematical operations in one. I'll create another one. Scientific formula. You can put the entire formula inside that system out and it will do it for you. This is where your elementary math skills will come in handy. I don't know if you learn mathematical operations called PEMDAS, PEMDAS. That stands for parentheses, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. This is the order that Java is also going to use to calculate your stuff for you. So here's what I have, an example that I need to do a calculation, for example, right here. It's a lot of calculations going on. It has parentheses, has multiplication, has division and stuff like that. You can actually put all of this inside that system out and it will do it for you as long as your order of operation with the parentheses is properly set up. So I can just type in this out, control space, enter, and take and copy this whole thing. Copy and paste it in here. Make sure you have no errors. If no errors showing up, you're good. One another way you can check error is hit the save button. If you get no error, that means it already did a compilation on this and found no errors. Now, if you run this, it will do all of that junky calculation for you like a calculator, and it's gonna spit out an answer with something like this, which is more like a scientific number. Big decimal stuff number. It works. Any question? That's it, guys. Now I'll show you how to do your homework and submit your answer. What you do is after you have installed, definitely tell me that you have done it, or I'll bug you to see if you have done it or not. You go to your Google Classroom. Obviously, first thing you want to do is you want to have these classes created, this project created, and copy it from the video, or if you just remember, if you want to do it without the video, here are the questions, practice questions, and that's what I just did for you, is these examples. So you can watch that and then create this face and stuff like that. For homework, however, you need to go to Google Classroom, go to your winter classwork, go down to Intro to Java assignment. And if I view the assignment, it was not going to show me anything. I'll have to click on Edit Assignment, and there's your assignment. So here's how you're going to do this. You go to Homework, Package, you right-click, and you For each of these, you create a class. You go to New, Class, and you name it like question 1, question number 1. You say like this, or number 1, number 1. You click on public static void main and hit finish. Now you have this class opened up for you called number 1. By the way, I'm going to delete this. Here's your number 1. You copy this question, the entire thing, bring it up here. You create a multi-line comment first. So you put in /*/. This creates a multi-line comment. You put your cursor in between these two star, and then you paste that thing that you just copied from the question. You paste Control V, you will paste it there. Make it a little prettier. Go to Tab. Bring your question here first. Don't go back and forth. That gets really hard for you to code this. And what is it saying? Write a Java, and then you do your work right here. So you read the question. It says, write a Java program to print hello on screen. And then print your name on a separate line. So, and it also tells you, here's how it's going to look like. Expected output, it's going to say hello, and it's going to say your name. Now you do your code right down here. You're like, okay, I want to print hello. No big deal. I can do it. Just write sysout, paste, enter. And in double quote, I'm going to write hello. Done. Run it. Let's see. Okay, so far so good. The next piece of code has to have my name. So I'll just copy this whole thing. Paste it here. And I'm going to put my name, Stein Purification. Run it. Got it. And that's the output that they want me to do. And here's hello and name, example output or example answer. Here's my answer. Hello, Stein Purification. Now, you're done. At this point, what you do is you copy this code. Give me from this part right here. Actually, just give me this part right here. Public static void main. Honestly, you know what? Don't even give me that. Just give me this. And just copy this question part or answer part. Sorry, I'm just flip-flopping. Just take this answer, these 2 lines of code. Because you got the question right here already. Just give me this 2 lines of code. Now, how are you going to submit it? Well, you create this file, Google Doc file. Make sure you copy all of this question. And you want to paste. So let's say if I copy this in Google Doc. I can't because I'm a teacher. It won't allow me. But imagine this is Google Doc. Here's the question number 1. You paste your answer right underneath that. Nothing different. Same thing you've been already doing. So you go to your Eclipse, you copy this question answer, these 2 lines, copy it, paste it. Make sure you indent it. And that's it. That's a full score for that question. Second one is arithmetic that we just did. Here's the expected output. And you just print it out for this, adding these 2 numbers. This is going to be the answer. Just make sure your output looks nice. Here's a symbol LV. If you can print this, obviously it didn't print here nicely, but you need to put in like a L, LL, and then VVV. Make it display nice. And the last question is American flag. Print print this American flag out. Put your code right underneath this. Any questions about homework and how to submit these things? Any questions
No.
about any part of what we taught today before we end the class?
I mean, for my case, I tried to print the face. It's not running. I don't know why.
If it's not running again, Stanley, what you need to do is check to see what error have you already installed it?
Yes.
Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to end the class right now, and you guys can drop. I'm going to go into Stanley's computer to see what error they're running. Please get back to me. Make sure, let me know that everything is working on your device. If not, have a one-on-one session set up for me with me this week so that I can debug and fix your machine. If you have no more questions at this time, you can drop. I will stop the video recording right now.